Hey, what's going on, guys? GB back here, and today in this video I'm going to be going over the top 20 most expensive new cars in the world, plus one extra at the end that I'm throwing in. You'll see what it is when we get there. But starting off with our number 20 spot, we have the Ferrari LaFerrari. This car is, absolutely beautiful, as you can see from this stunning example right here. This car is valued at around $1.4 million. It was originally introduced in 2013 and it had 950 hybrid horsepower and a top speed of around 220 miles per hour. And this is, of course, one of my favorite Ferraris out there. New Ferraris out there. I do love the classic Ferraris. Next up, we're going to move to our number 19 spot, and that one is the Pagani Huayra. Now, the Pagani Huayra is one of my all-time favorite hypercars. It is, absolutely beautiful. These things are a work of art. Every little detail is thought through to the fullest extent, and it's just absolutely beautiful. Not to mention, these things are pretty fast. Now, this car was built between 2012 and 2018. They made only about 100. I think they made only 100 of them. And then they made 20 Pagani Huayra BCs. But we'll get to that later. So they started making them in 2012, stopped making them in 2018. These things came from the factory with a Mercedes AMG V12 with 720 horsepower. And, they're just absolutely beautiful. Like, how can you not love this car? They're just extraordinary. Next up, we have the McLaren Elva in our number 18 spot. This is quite an interesting car and quite unique. The McLaren Elva is, of course, a unique design, and there's only a handful of other vehicles like this that I can think of where it's just completely open like this. The McLaren Elva produced 804 horsepower with its 4.0-liter turbocharged V8 engine. I believe they were going to make around 399 units, and today there are only 249 examples that exist. That's all they made. And the McLaren Elva, for one of these cars, costs $1.7 million. Moving down to our number 17 spot, we have the Ferrari Monza. Now, this one is similar to the McLaren Elva in the fact that it is, completely open. It's actually, I've heard it, compared a lot to the McLaren Elva. These cars were powered by a 6.5-liter V12 engine capable of 809 horsepower, and these things cost $1.7 million. Now, I didn't find exactly how many were made, but, it's definitely a unique car. I can tell you that right now. It's not often that you see something like this. Even if you live in, a really rich area, especially if you live in, California or something, you're probably not going to see one of these on the road, because, they're definitely uncommon, much like the McLaren Elva. Now, for our number 16 spot, we have the Bentley Bacalar, which I'm pretty sure is how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm sorry if I absolutely just completely ruined that. They only produced 12 of these cars in total. It was powered by a turbocharged 6.0-liter W12 engine, and it delivered 650 horsepower, and were sold at the not-so-cheap price of $1.9 million. Now, and I forgot to mention that this list is according to Motor1.com. These are some cars that I found on there. I did a little bit of my own research about them and kind of tried to figure out exactly what was going on here. So, the fact that they only made 12 is really quite incredible and just shows how rare of a car this is. And the fact that they sold it for $1.9 million is pretty crazy. I feel like that makes sense, though. It's one of the most expensive cars that Bentley has ever made. And, it's probably one of the coolest looking, too. Look at this thing. Next up at our 15th spot, I absolutely love this car, the Pininfarina Battista, which I don't know how well I pronounced that one either. But this one is beautiful. Now, this one is a significant jump up in price from the last one. They only are planning on making only around 150 examples. It was first revealed in 2019, and could do 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. This thing put out 1,827 horsepower, which is absolutely incredible. This thing would move. And these ones come at a staggering price of $2.5 million each. Now, if you think that's an incredible, like, a super high price, you ain't seen nothing yet, because we're only at number 15, and we've got a lot more to go. Because, next up, at our number 14 spot, we have the Mercedes-AMG Project 1. These cars, I just love these things. This thing produced 1,200 horsepower and came at the price tag of $2.7 million, which is just extraordinary. But I mean, I absolutely love this car. Everything from its looks to all the features this thing has, this thing is incredible. This is hands down one of my favorite Mercedes ever made. Just every little aspect of this is thought out, and I'm pretty sure they're still working on these, but they're quite incredible. They're really nice, and I believe they're hybrid powered as well. Next up, we got one that I don't know if anybody really expected to see on this list, but I mean, it makes a bit of sense. At number 13 spot, we have the Aston Martin Victor. Now, this thing looks awesome. I'm normally not a huge fan of Aston Martins. I know, I'm crazy. There are a couple, like a select few that I like, and this is one of them. And like this for me is alongside the Aston Martin, like the Vulcan or like or the DB5 or DBR1. Like those are the couple that I like. This one is up there with those couple that I like. This car is amazing. So this one is another leap up in price. This one is, let me think here. I just gotta look back at the price. I just lost my page real quick. Yeah, these things are super limited production, very exclusive vehicle, and I mean, come on, I mean, look at that thing. It's super unique. These, one of a kind cars cost nearly $3 million, which is incredible. I mean, I have not heard of another Aston Martin that costs that much, because I mean, I know the DB5s go for like $800,000, which is, I mean, that's a lot of money right there, but didn't even hit the 1 million spot. This one is 3 times that 1 million spot. Next up, we have an absolutely incredible looking car. This one is very new. It's fairly modern, and is actually a track car. And we're going to see another car after this, an upcoming one, that is very similar to this one. And we are talking about our number 12 spot, the Bugatti Bolide. This car, I actually kind of like it. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of this kind of type of design for a track car or for any car, as a matter of fact. Normally, I'm just not really a huge fan. But I actually like the way this thing looks. I mean, the headlights look awesome. Those X's there are the headlights. That's super cool. Everything down to the exhaust, which I actually don't have a picture of. I forgot to put a picture of the exhaust in here. Every little detail of this car is really nice. I mean, everything from the roof scoop, which again, not a huge fan of seeing on most cars, but the roof scoop on this thing actually looks really cool. Plus, the covered rims are also looking really awesome. These have some incredible specs here. So these things produce 1,479 horsepower using probably the most widely used engine of that company is the 8.0 liter W16 engine. This is actually only track only, so this is very limited. But they are valued at $3 million, similar to the Aston Martin Victor before, valued at $3 million. Now, next up, we have something that is very similar, or at least somewhat similar to the Bugatti Bolide in design, at least, I think. Number 11, the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Now, this one, I'm sorry to say, not a huge fan of it. I'm not. I mean, I think they're all right. I mean, it's just not my first choice. No way. These things are actually more than a Bugatti Bolide. They cost quite a bit, and I'm going to get to the price in a second here, because, I mean, there's a couple. these produce 1,160 horsepower from their 6.5-liter V12 engine and 664 foot-pounds of torque. So this thing has got some pretty good power behind it, and this thing can hit well over 200 miles an hour, which, I mean, I don't doubt it. I believe this thing can go easy over 200. The car is valued at $3.2 million, so a little bit more than the previous Bugatti Bolide, around $200,000 more. They only made 150 examples, and it is a very limited run. Next up, we got a car that, I mean, I know is super popular. It's just not really my personal favorite because I'm just not a huge fan of this design. And that is the W Motors Lycan Hypersport. Now, I'm sorry to say, I just don't really like this style of car. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know exactly what it is about this style. I'm just not a huge fan of it. But it is a very unique car, very incredible car, and a super popular car. I know a lot of people love these. These things were powered by the... Let me see here. I'm just looking at some of the specs here. So this is a car from Dubai. Of course, I mean, Dubai has all the crazy supercars and hypercars and stuff. And this car was revealed in 2013. It has titanium LED headlight housings, 420 15-karat diamonds, and holographic display in the center console, which is also really insane. Plus the doors. I probably should have put a picture in here of the doors as well. But the doors open reversed, which is really cool. It's got, like, reverse butterfly wing doors. So, like, think the doors on a Rolls-Royce Phantom. Or not Rolls-Royce Phantom, sorry. Rolls-Royce Wraith. Think that, but, like, butterfly wing. They're like that. And I think that's actually kind of cool. I do like that. Let's see here. This car is powered by the twin-turbo 3.7-liter 6-cylinder engine, producing 780 horsepower and 708 foot-pounds of torque. Now, this car goes for the hefty price of $3.4 million. And I believe they only made 7 of these, which is super limited. But I do know a lot of people that love these, so I'm not saying it's a bad car. I'm just saying it's not personally in my taste. But I know they are super popular because, I mean, they do have a lot of really, really cool features. Next up, we are back with Pagani. In our number 9 spot, we have the Pagani Huayra BC Roadster. This one, I was a little bit surprised to see it at the price that it's at. But, I mean, it kind of makes sense because, I mean, these things... I mean, first of all, the Pagani Huayra BC, in general, is a crazy car. Plus, the fact that this one is a Roadster makes more sense that it is at this price. So, this thing has a 6.0-liter V12 engine, producing 800 horsepower and 774 foot-pounds of torque. And this one is just a little bit more than the Lycan Hypersport. This one, I believe they made 20 Pagani Huayra BCs in total, and I actually don't know exactly how many of the Roadsters they made. Let me see. Pagani's limiting the production to just 40 units, and the sticker price of each of those units is $3.5 million, which is quite extraordinary and quite an expensive vehicle. I do love these things, though. I mean, I love the standard Pagani Huayra more than the BC, which sounds crazy. I like the simplicity of it. This one just reminds me more of like a track car, something that you take out on the track just to go fast. The other one reminds me, it has a little bit more of a luxury feel to it, as well as the ability to go fast. Next up, we have our number 8 spot. We are back with Bugatti, with the Bugatti Chiron Per Sport. These things I actually do kind of like. I do like the fact that it has the wing. I think it looks really neat. It's got the just solid wing in the back. Normally the Bugatti Chiron normally has an active aero system in the back. This one, however, has just a solid wing in the back. This one was also unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show, and this is a special edition Bugatti Chiron with a focus more toward aerodynamics, weight reduction, and power distribution. So it has the same 8.0 liter quad turbo W16 engine, and it produces 1,500 horsepower, and the RPM redline is at 6,900 RPM, which is pretty dang good right there. The Per Sport also features just slightly different bodywork than the normal Chiron. They did change a lot of stuff. I mean, for example, they were working on aerodynamics, power distribution, all that stuff, weight reduction, all that. These cars come at a pretty high price of $3.6 million, which is definitely not the cheapest car on this list, because, we already went through like 9 other cars that are cheaper. Next up, we're moving to Lamborghini. This one is very nice. The Lamborghini Cian, or Cyan. I think it's Cian. This is another super iconic limited production car that Lamborghini has made. I feel like Lamborghini is normally known for stuff like the Aventador and the Huracan are probably the 2 most well-known, as well as like the Gallardo or the Murcielago, stuff like that, are some of their like more well-known models, as well as the Countach is probably one of the most famous ones up there. But this one here has a 6.5-liter V12, and it's got a 48-volt mild hybrid system, producing 819 horsepower, which also makes this the most powerful Lamborghini ever. This is the most powerful vehicle that Lamborghini has made, which is pretty cool. Let's see here. So they limited production to just 63 units, and each one of those units comes at a price of $3.6 million, which was the same as the Bugatti Chiron Per Sport. Next up, we are moving back to Bugatti with our number 6 spot, the Bugatti Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus. This thing is pretty darn cool. I love the sound of this thing starting up because it doesn't sound like a hypercar. It sounds kind of like a muscle car, which sounds weird, but it does. It's again based off of the Bugatti Chiron, which is probably the most famous model of the Bugatti lineup of cars. This car was capable of achieving 300 miles per hour, but it was a modified version. Which the modified version that they hit 300 miles an hour in is not actually street legal. So the street version hits around 280. So production is actually starting this year, and I follow Bugatti on Instagram, and I did see a couple of their pictures, they had like 10 of these things like lined up, and it was pretty cool to see. They limited this to only 30 production units, though. They're only making 30 of these, so it's very rare, very exclusive. This car is valued at $3.9 million, which is how much they're going to be selling it for. If I had the money, I would probably buy one because these things are absolutely awesome. I do like these. When I first saw them, I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. But now I'm starting to just kind of settle down on that a bit. It's not as cool as when I first saw it, but they are pretty darn cool cars. And I would love to own one, but it's 3.9 mil. If I get 3.9 million subscribers and you each give me $1, we'll see. Next up, we are back to Lamborghini with Lamborghini's Veneno. This one is another super iconic car that Lamborghini made. They only built 14 of them, so again, super exclusive. They made these between 2014 and 2015. This one had the 6.5-liter V12 engine, producing 740 horsepower and 509 foot-pounds of torque. And this one could do 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, which is pretty impressive. And this one actually holds the record for the most expensive new Lamborghini ever at $4.5 million. Now, I love these things. They're super cool looking. I love the rear wing. I love the really crazy looking design. They're really nice. Plus, the red trim around around the tires and then around the side skirts and front lip and everything just looks awesome. Next up, in our number 4 spot, so we're nearing the end of this list here. In our number 4 spot, we are back with Bugatti, with the Bugatti Devo. Now this one, personally, I'm not really a huge fan of. I know it's a super popular car. I know a lot of people love these because, I mean, they are pretty cool looking. It's just not my personal favorite Bugatti out there. I do think they're neat. This one here, the Devo is a staff favorite, I guess, is one thing that I found here. They are only making 40 of them. So, again, very limited run. They're actually making more of these than the Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus. They're making 10 more of these. They put lighter wheels on it, and this one is actually 77 pounds lighter than the Chiron. Like a stock Chiron, this one is 77 pounds lighter. This one produces 1,500 horsepower. It features a completely different aerodynamic setup and makes its 8 seconds quicker around the Nardo test track, which is pretty cool. This car is really... I'm pretty sure it uses the same W16 engine, but this one cost $5.8 million, which is quite a big jump from the previous car, which, I mean, the Veneno was 4.5. This one jumps right up to 5.8. And then, I mean, this next one's even a bigger jump. From the Bugatti Devo, we now deviate to number 3 with the Mercedes Maybach Accelero, which this is an absolutely awesome, like, luxury vehicle. Look how beautiful that thing is. That's like a show-stopping vehicle. You pull up to just about anywhere in this thing, people are gonna look at it and take pictures of it, and it makes sense with a price tag that will soon be revealed after I go over the specs, because I'm going to look over the specs first. This car was introduced in 2004, and this one, Mercedes built this off of a Maybach, and it has a twin-turbo V12 engine producing 690 horsepower and 752 foot-pounds of torque. Its top speed is around 218 miles per hour, and to adjust for inflation, because, I mean, this car in 2004 cost $8 million. This car is now valued, after inflation, at $10 million in today's money. But still, not as much as the next car, because we're going back to Bugatti with another most expensive car from Bugatti. This is not the most expensive car from Bugatti, actually. In our number 2 spot, the Bugatti Gento 10, which I'm pretty sure is how you pronounce it. Probably not, though, because I probably pronounced it wrong. This one here, I mean, the list doesn't make actually a whole ton of sense. I mean, just kind of the way it's ordered, because this one, I mean, we're talking new prices here, so it still makes sense. Never mind. This one jumps up quite a decent bit in price. This one was actually revealed at Pebble Beach Car Week, and this is a super, like, this one was a big deal when this car came out, because, I mean, it looks so much different than most other cars that Bugatti's made, but it does look very similar to the EB110, which, actually, I'm pretty sure just this year had its 30th anniversary. So this car was actually made for the 110th anniversary of the Bugatti company. This is one of the most expensive Bugattis in the world, just under one other car, and they were trying to do a modern throwback of the EB110, like I said. This one, they're only making 10. That they're limiting the run to 10. And, I mean, hence the name. Because, I mean, the name does, the name, Gento 10, at the end of it, means 10. So, I mean, it makes sense. These are carrying a price, which, I mean, they should have made it just a little bit higher, just to kind of honor that number 10. But, oddly enough, these cars are valued at $9 million. And this is one of the most exclusive cars ever made. And again, this is $9 million, which is crazy. I mean, it's a beautiful car, though. I mean, come on, how can you not love this thing? This was like my favorite Bugatti when it first came out, because when this first came out, I wasn't actually a huge fan of Bugatti. I just thought the front grille looked kind of stupid, but I kind of love it now. It's awesome. And this was, when that came out, this is the car that kind of got me into Bugatti, because I saw this and I was like, dang, they're making some cool stuff. And I started seeing the beauty in all the other cars they were making, and I was like, wow, these things are incredible. Sorry, my dogs are barking. I need to get some, like, should put up some soundproofing foam in here or something. Nah, I don't know if I don't know. Next up, we are making a humongous jump, almost doubling the price. In our number one spot, the Bugatti Voce Noir, which translates to the black car. Which, I mean, I thought was kind of funny because it's a black car, but they literally called it the black car. This one, I said it almost doubles in price. It actually more than doubles in price. It's quite a big leap. This thing has it's the same quad turbo as the Chiron. Same quad turbo. It's the same engine as the Chiron. It's got the quad turbo 8.0 liter W16, producing 1,479 horsepower. Now this thing reminds me a lot of the Devo. This one here produced 1,180 foot-pounds of torque. It has 6 exhaust tips, which is pretty interesting. It has these really crazy looking, like, almost vortex wheels, which are pretty cool looking if you ask me. It's got more of an aggressive look, I feel like, as well. And again, it reminds me a lot of the Devo almost, but, like, not quite the same. Now, this one, they're only making one. This is a one of one. It is a one-off car. They're not making another one of these for as long as the company exists. They're not making another La Voce Noir. They produced one, just the one, and that one costs $18.7 million, which is a considerable jump from the previous car, which was, again, a Bugatti, but it was a Gento Dieci, and it cost $9 million. You thought that was a lot? Well, this one's $18.7 million. Now, that was technically number one on the list. Now, the most expensive car ever sold, which I'm just going to bring that up real quick. It's not on the list officially, but it is produced by Ferrari. The Ferrari 250 GTO, I believe it was 1963 or 62 or 63. Ferrari 250 GTO, which sold at auction for, I think, just a little bit under $50 million, which is just incredible. But now I'm going to go on to the honorable mention of this list, because I love it, and I would love to own one, because, I mean, this brand is like one of my dream cars, one of my favorite car brands out there, and I've always wanted to own just some model from this car. And I am talking about the Rolls-Royce Boattail. Look at that. It is beautiful. Now, this is one of the best images I could find, because, I mean, they're all pretty much identical, and they all look like this. So I picked this one. I mean, it looked like really good resolution, but this one is a pretty staggering price, because this is actually an estimated price. There's no, like, definite price. This one is actually based off of, it's kind of like an upgraded Rolls-Royce Sweptail, which they made the Sweptail in 2017, and it actually looks very similar to this absolutely gorgeous car. But the Sweptail cost $12.8 million. Now this Boattail costs $28 million. Now this thing is really amazing. I mean, they have a built-in champagne fridge. They have a built-in umbrella. They have, like, all these crazy additions. You could take this thing on a picnic and it has everything you need built right into the car. It's quite incredible. Now, I couldn't find a whole ton of specs about it because, I mean, there's still not a whole ton known about this thing. But it's not, like, meant to be super fast, and it's not meant to... It's meant to be luxury. It's meant to be the most, like... It's meant to be more luxury than luxury, pretty much. This thing is absolutely beautiful. Now, this feels like, if I was, like, some multi-billionaire or something, this feels like something that I would drive to, like, a summer home and just, like, relax for a weekend. That's probably what I do with this thing. But like, I mean, my favorite car, I mean, from Rolls-Royce is the Rolls-Royce Phantom 8. That's my favorite one. But this one probably comes into the close second because, I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. That is actually like one of my all-time dream cars. If I were to have any luxury car, Rolls-Royce Phantom 8 is the one. Like, my favorite luxury car ever is the Phantom 8. But, I mean, this might take the cake now. Because, I mean, this thing has got everything you would ever need. It's quite extraordinary. But, anyways, now that we've kind of gone over everything, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like. That would be awesome. That will let me know that you want to see kind of more list content like this, or like car content like this, because I would love to do more of this. This was a ton of fun. Although it took me like an hour and a half to set up my filming software to do all this. I had a lot of fun, actually. And sorry about the lighting. I'm still trying to figure something out with that. There's a window like right behind here, and it's 6:10 p.m. so it's starting to get a little bit dark out. But I'm figuring something out. I promise. I am trying to figure something out, like the best way to kind of go about that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It would be greatly appreciated if you could hit the subscribe button. That would be awesome. I'm trying to get to 300 subscribers by my next birthday. So by next June, I want to be at 300 subscribers. That's my goal, because I know my channel has been growing decently over the past while. So that's my goal, 300 by next June. That's my goal. So if you guys could help me out get to that, please do. That would be greatly appreciated. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you all next time. See ya.